Hi, my name is Amy Flory. I'm a physical therapist, and today I'm going to talk about stretching. Who, how, when, and why. First of all, there are two kinds of people who would benefit from stretching. Number one, people who are very active, training for a specific event, or exercising regularly throughout the week. The other group of people are those who are inactive, sitting at a desk most of the day. So essentially that means everyone would benefit from some stretching. And the reason we need to stretch is that our muscles and soft tissues adapt to the position or the activity that we're in most of the time. So if you are exercising a certain group of muscles regularly, then that group of muscles is going to shorten as it strengthens, and you need to counteract that force with stretching to keep the muscles balanced around the joint. If you are sitting most of the time at a desk, then your muscles also are going to shorten like shrink wrap and basically form your body to the chair. So you need to, again, counteract that day-long force by keeping the muscles long. Most stretches need to be done at least 45 to 60 seconds. If you are training heavily for an event, you need to stretch at least 5 times a day to counteract all the force that you're putting into your body. If you are looking to just maintain a certain amount of flexibility, then you could get by with stretching with once or twice a day. If you are sitting at a desk most of the day, you need to stretch at least 3 times a day. I'm going to show you a couple of things for the upper body. The first thing is actually not really a stretch, but just a postural awareness exercise, especially for those of you who are sitting a lot during the day. If you're sitting in front of a computer, it almost acts like a tractor beam and will kind of pull you forward into a C shape. So it's good to remind your body sometimes of what vertical really is. So all you need is something vertical, like a cupboard or a wall, and I just want you to lean back against it, get the back of your head, the upper back, and your hips back against the wall. Your feet can be slightly out from the wall, and press the back of your hands, not the palm of your hands, but the back of your hands into the wall, keeping the shoulders down for about 5 seconds. And I would do that a few times throughout the day. The other thing you can do for your upper body is to stretch your pectoral muscles, of which there are actually 2 groups. There's a group that runs straight across to the sternum, and there's a group that runs down at a diagonal. So you want to stretch both groups to really loosen up the front of the shoulder. So again, all you need is a wall or something to put your hand on. So first of all, we're going to stretch the horizontal pectoral muscles. I just have my hand here. You can make a fist. You don't have to have the palm flat. With the palm flat, you're going to get a little more stretch of nerves and blood vessels as well. So I'm just going to keep my hand planted and turn carefully away from my arm to get a stretch across the front of the shoulder, chest, or into the arm, and hold that gently for 45 to 60 seconds. Then we're going to do the same thing for the diagonal group of muscles. You want to have your arm in line with that, and this time I'm going to turn away and kind of slightly down, and hold that for, again, 45 to 60 seconds. All right, now we're going to start with the leg stretches. We'll start from the feet and work our way up to the hips. The first one is a calf stretch, which is probably familiar to many of you. You're going to lean against something for support so you don't overstretch the muscles. The back foot is my stretching leg. I want to make sure that my foot is pointing straight forward, not out to the side. You should wear shoes when you're doing this so you can support the arch so you're not stretching the foot itself. Keep the heel planted, and you lean forward till you feel a stretch in the back of the leg. Hold that for 45 to 60 seconds. Then keeping the heel on the floor, you're going to bend the knee, and this is going to stretch more towards the Achilles tendon. And again, hold for 45 to 60 seconds. All right, so now we're going to move on to the hamstring, and the hamstring is a really large muscle that attaches from the sitting bone and attach then down to the back of the knee. It's a very large, thick muscle, and most of the time it's pretty tight on people. Unfortunately, most of the time people are stretching it, they're doing it incorrectly and putting a lot of strain on your back. So one way you can do it properly is just put your foot up on a small stool. This is as high as I can tolerate, but I do have the tightest hamstrings in the world. You want to make sure that you're up really tall here in your back. You want to preserve a curve here in the low back. And then you're just going to tip the pelvis forward until you feel the pull in the back of the leg, and then maintain that for 45 to 60 seconds. Because it is a thick muscle, you probably could stand to do it a couple of times at each session. This is a quad or runner's stretch. We're going to combine it with a little bit of hip flexor stretch so that we get a good stretch all across the front of the hip and the thigh and the front of the knee. And so you'll recognize this form, but the key for this to really stretch effectively is to tuck your tail under. That's going to bring the thigh forward. Keep the tail tucked under while you then bring the knee back. I'm not trying to bring the heel closer, and if you're too tight to allow that, you can just grasp the pant leg instead. Okay, so here it is from the beginning. You tuck, bring the knee back. This is as far back as I can bring my thigh without releasing my back, because if I release my back, I can go all the way here. So again, tuck, bring it right here, bring the heel as close as you can then to the back of you if you still need more stretch, and again hold 45 to 60 seconds. All right, last but certainly not least, we need to work on stretching the big muscles in the back of the hip. So there are two ways we can do this. If your office clothes allow you, put one foot up on top of the chair. Make sure that your spine is straight and lengthened. You want to keep the curve in your low back, and then lean forward into the hip. And you'll hold that for 45 to 60 seconds. Alternately, you can put one arm here and do a little bit of a twist to stretch the back as well. Now, another way to stretch those muscles in sitting is to sit all the way to the edge of your seat. You want to make sure you're up tall on your sitting bones. Cross one leg over. Bring the knee up towards the chest. And again, keep the chest lifted and turn slightly. And you'll get a stretch into the back of the hip there. Again, 45 to 60 seconds. And then you're done.